Number 7, we are multiplying mixed numbers. When we multiply or divide mixed numbers, we have to convert them to improper fractions first, before we can do our multiplying and dividing. So when I convert this to an improper fraction again, I'm taking the denominator times the whole number and adding the numerator. 5 times 6 is 30, 30 plus 2 would be 32. Denominator should stay the same, fifths. Times 5 times 10 is 50. 50 plus 3 is 53 fifths. Now, if I were going to, or if I could, I would reduce. But I can't reduce 5 with 32 or 5 with 53, so I just have to multiply. 5 times 5 on the bottom, that's easy. That's 25. Otherwise, on the top, I have to take 32 times 53. I'm going to put the 53 on top because it really doesn't matter my order. So 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 5 is 10. Got to go to the 10 spot, so I add my 0. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 5 is 15. So I get 1,696 over 25. Now, I want to then convert my improper fraction to my mixed number and put it in lowest terms. So I'm going to take 25 and divide it into 1,696. 25 doesn't go into 16. 25 goes into 169 6 times. I like to think of 25 like quarters. How many quarters would I have? Well, I'd have 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 6 times. 150, subtracting, I get 196 because I have 19 and then the 6 comes down. 25 into 196 goes 7 times, which would be 175. If I subtract, I get 21. So I get for an answer 67 and 21/25. Again, if I want to double check that with my calculator, I do 6 fraction 2 fraction 5 times 10 fraction 3 fraction fifths, and I end up with 67 and 21/25, which of course was what we got when we did it the long way. And unfortunately, on the Alex program, it doesn't let me add space to these pages that I produce. It just prints them out however they feel like it. So there's not always a lot of writing space. The wood pen set assembly line at Northeastern Products is capable of producing 7 1/10 products an hour. Today, the firm operated the assembly line for a total of 8.5 hours. How many wood pen sets were produced during that 8 1/5 hours time? So I can do 7 1/10 every hour, so just about 7 an hour. I'm going to work for 8 1/5 hours, so 8 hours. So 7 times 8 is 56. I know I'm going to have a little more than 56 because I have those fraction parts. But my whole thing is I'm taking 7 1/10 times 8 1/5, making my improper fractions. 10 times 7 would be 70 plus 1, so 71/10. 5 times 8 is 40, 40 plus 1, so 41/5. Again, they didn't make it very nice. I can't reduce at all. The bottom's easy to multiply. 10 times 5 is 50. The top I'm going to have to go ahead and multiply. 71 times 41. So 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 7 is 7. Going over to the 10 spot, 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 7 is 28. So I am going to get 1, 1, carry my 1, 9, 2. 2,911 when I multiply that out. And then I want to change my improper fraction to a mixed number, so I'm going to divide 50 into 2,911. 50 doesn't go into 29, so 50 into 29 would be 5 times. 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 5 is 25. I have a 4 and a 1 and a 1. So 50 into 411 would be 8 times 5 is 40, so 400, and I got 11 left over, so 58 and 11/50 is what I end up with. We said it should be about 56 when we estimated. Well, that's pretty close. We'll double check it with the calculator. 7 fraction 1 fraction tenth times 8 fraction 1 fraction fifth gives me 58 and 11/50ths, which is what we got. All right, problem number 9 here. Tom Collins' car consumed 5 3/5 gallons of gas and averaged 13 3/4 miles per gallon. How many miles did Tom drive on this trip? So if we think about it, if I average 13 3/4 miles per gallon and I use 5 3/4 gallons of gas, I have to multiply my miles that I went, or miles per gallon, times the number of gallons that I went, right? If I got 5 miles per gallon and I used 5 gallons of gas, 5 times 5, I went 25 miles. So in this case, I have to take the 13 3/4 miles per gallon times the 5 3/5 gallons of gas that I used. I'm going to multiply these out. I have to first of all convert to improper fractions. So 4 times 13 would be 52 plus 3 would be 55/4. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 3 would be 28/5. On this one, it's a little nicer because I can do some reducing. 55 and 5 are both divisible by 5. 5 goes into there once and into there 11 times. 4 and 28 I can reduce. 4 goes into 4 once and 28 7 times. So 4 times 7 is 77. 1 times 1 is 1. 77 over 1 means I went 77 miles. And again, if I just want to double check with my calculator, I'm going to do 13 fraction 3 fraction fourths times 5 fraction 3 fraction fifths. And sure enough, I get 77. So whenever we multiply or divide with mixed numbers, our first step is to make that improper fraction and then do it just like we did our other multiplying and dividing.